Thanks for joining us this morning. Good to see you. I'm Vanessa Broussard. We have breaking news to report to you this morning. President Trump has just endorsed Mike Lindell for governor of Minnesota. The president putting out his endorsement just moments ago, saying this: Mike Lindell, the Pillow Man and one of America's greatest and most hardworking patriots, is running to be governor of Minnesota, replacing one of the worst and most incompetent governors in the history of the USA. Early primary voting has begun, and if given the chance, Mike will be spectacular. He truly loves Minnesota, as do I, and wants to bring it back from oblivion and embarrassment. He can do it. Nobody has sacrificed more than Mike Lindell in fighting for our country, especially when it comes to election integrity. He truly deserves everything he gets. He will make Minnesota great again. Mike Lindell has my complete and total endorsement. He will not let you down. Good luck, Mike. President Donald J. Trump. Mike Lindell will be joining us in just a few minutes with reaction. Don't touch that dial. Don't scroll. We will be hearing from Mike momentarily with the great news from President Trump, so stick around for that. In the meantime, President Trump is preparing to speak directly to the American people tomorrow night with an address to the nation. And at center stage is election integrity. The president will deliver a primetime address to the nation from the White House tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. President Trump telling our Kara Castronova he plans to make a very big announcement concerning free and fair elections.
President Trump, people around the world and around the nation are anticipating your big announcement on Thursday night regarding election machines and integrity. Can you give us sort of a sneak peek about what to expect and tell the audience?
Well, I'd rather save it. It will concern that subject, and we'll have a couple of other things to say also.
Why should people watch, though?
But I'd rather save it, but it's really big news. It's really, really big news. And our country has to shape up. But that's what we're going to be talking about Thursday is it doesn't get bigger, because without free and fair elections, you don't have a country. We'll be discussing other things too, but it's going to be a very big announcement. Yeah.
And while the White House has not released the complete details of the speech, reports indicate the president could discuss newly declassified intelligence involving investigations into U.S. elections, possible foreign interference, and alleged vulnerabilities with voting machines. The address comes just months before the 2026 midterms, and as President Trump continues calling for stronger voter identification requirements, proof of citizenship, and tighter protections surrounding mail-in ballots. This also comes when the Senate continues to stall with the Save America Act. Our Allison Steinberg is questioning Congress.
President Trump said on one of the last conversations he had with Lindsey Graham that he had mentioned that they were very close to getting the Save America Act across the finish line. Senators Mike Lee and Rick Scott are both now saying that in order to get this done, the Senate should stay in session through recesses and weekends. Is that something you would support?
Well, I support the Save America Act 100%, and I hope that we can do whatever it takes to pass it. And I'm for making the Democrats hold the floor. I'm for changing the rules on the filibuster. I'm for the Save America Act. So I'm all for that. And I said last night, I think there's nothing that we could do that would be more significant for the country and also would follow through on one of Lindsey Graham's top priorities than to pass the Save America Act. This is voter ID. I mean, I always say, in Missouri, we've had voter ID for years. We put it on our own constitution. We, the voters of Missouri. So every time my Democrat colleagues say, as I'll probably say in here in like 10 minutes, that, oh, that'll never work. It does work. We've done it for years in my state. So I don't get why. I mean, I do know why they're opposed to it. It's because they want people who are not citizens to vote. That's the only reason they're opposed to it. And I just think that's wrong. We need to pass it.
And he plans to ask Blanche about his inaction on Anthony Fauci. I know Rand Paul and Ron Johnson have both been very vocal. And there was a statute of limitations that he actually let expire to act on that.
Well, you're putting a little more forcefully what I was gently alluding to there a second ago, which is I think there's a lot of work left to do in the Justice Department. I really do, from abuses that have happened in the past. And, you know, I can also think of the people who were targeted, prosecuted, or threatened with prosecution, Christians, pro-lifers. You know, let's not forget that the FBI tried to recruit informants into Christian churches and Catholic parishes. in this country. So my own view is there has not yet been enough accountability on that. So I look forward to asking about that. I want to see some real accountability.
But not everyone is. Of course, the Democrats aren't looking forward to the president's address tomorrow night.
Oh, Allison Steinberg with LINDELLTV. Just curious to get your thoughts on the president announcing there's been some serious election interference in the 2020 election. There's going to be a big announcement on Thursday. He says, serious interference there. What is your response to that?
I'll wait with bated breath, and I have no interest in the president's opinion on the elections.
But if there is, interference, shouldn't that be pursued and looked into?
Of course. And there's no evidence. There has been years of this witch hunt looking for evidence that doesn't exist, and there is no evidence that there is mass cheating on any election.
I mean, look at California right now. There's people on Skid Row who are being paid to vote.
I'm done with this conversation. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Well, tomorrow night, the president may also provide an update on Iran, although election integrity, again, is expected to remain the primary focus. That address to the nation is at 9 p.m. tomorrow. President Trump meeting with Iraq Prime Minister Ali al-Azadi at the White House for a bilateral meeting. The talks focused on energy and oil production, American investment, and the future of U.S. troops in Iraq. President Trump saying he wants troops to withdraw from Iraq by the fall.
Well, thank you very much. We've had already a good meeting. We're going to decide to do a little lunch. It wasn't scheduled, but we are going to do it on the fly because we have a tremendous chemistry together. The Prime Minister of Iraq has been amazing. He won an election that a lot of people didn't anticipate could be won by anybody else other than another person who was not, in my opinion, a good person. Not good for America. I don't think good for Iraq. And I played a role in, it was very important to me to have somebody get in there that can do the job and do it well. And we have a fantastic champion, a new champion. And he won the election very soundly, very conclusively, and he wasn't favored. But by the time they got to know him, he ended up winning. And he's going to be there for a long time. So I just want to say it's a great honor to have the Prime Minister of Iraq with us. He's been a great fighter, and he's been a great fan of America. We'll be discussing that a little bit with you. But they have tremendous oil reserves. They have tremendous potential wealth, and they have tremendous wealth, not only potential. But he's done in a short period of time, he's changed that country so much, especially toward their thinking about the United States. And we have partnerships. Chris was just saying we have tremendous oil partnerships all of a sudden being formed over the last short period of time, and I guess you're going to be announcing them this week or next week, but massive, among the largest. So they have done a fantastic job over the last very short period of time, but they have a great leader, the new Prime Minister. He's a great leader. I think he's going to be there for a long period of time, and it's great to have you at the White House. Thank you very much.
And from the White House, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth also welcoming the Prime Minister with a tour of the Pentagon.
Well, Your Excellency, welcome to the Pentagon. A generation of great Americans in this building spent their lives, and many lost their brothers, fighting for the future of Iraq. Like the great Americans that I mentioned, Iraqis as well have shed blood fighting ISIS. Inch by inch, fighting to free your country from ISIS's grip. And today we will affirm publicly that Operation Inherent Resolve will conclude its counter-ISIS mission from Iraq on the timeline previously jointly announced. Iraq was not Saddam's, Iraq was not Al-Qaeda's or ISIS's, and it's not Iran's. It's a strong, sovereign country that we could look forward to partnering with based on mutual benefits. We look forward to your leadership, we appreciate your courage and boldness, and we look forward to finding ways to partner in the future. Thank you for being here. God bless.
And back at the White House, President Trump faced the media in a bilateral meeting on Iran. He was asked if he had any regrets. Here's his response.
Given how the Iranians have been behaving, Do you have any regrets about lifting the naval blockade or giving the sanctions waivers?
No, I gave them a chance. I wanted to give them a chance at making a deal. You know, we had a deal 2 days ago. It was done. And then all of a sudden, they couldn't do it. They didn't like something about the deal. They couldn't do it. And they shot first, and that was a big mistake that they shot first because we have been knocking the hell out of them. They're very difficult people. 47 years we put up with it. The SS Cole, you go back all the way, thousands of people, thousands of Americans were killed, a lot of soldiers were killed. A lot of soldiers are walking around or not walking around. I mean, they've been so badly injured. The arms, the legs, the face, with the Soleimani, with the bomb. They call it the roadside bomb. Most people call it the roadside bomb. It's a disaster. And I killed him in my first administration. Had I not, it might be a different story today. He was a mad genius. He was probably a madman, but he was a general, and he had total control over the country. And I actually think the leaders of Iran were afraid of Soleimani. But I killed him. And by the way, with him went a very bad person also. They happened to be meeting each other at the airport. And a very bad person from Iraq happened to be a leader of Iraq, happened to be killed in that same incident. So I don't know if I did you a favor or not. I've never asked you that question. You probably would know better than me. But no, I think that what we've done to Iran is we've taken away almost all of their military capability.
And when it comes to the late Senator Lindsey Graham, President Trump discussed his family history and the conspiracy theories surrounding his death.
Are you aware of why the FBI is looking into Senator Graham's death? Have you gotten any updates on why they were at his home?
Well, I don't know why, because I think, he had a problem. His father had a very similar problem, as you know. It's very unique. At first I heard it was clogged arteries, because he did have clogged arteries. He had a problem with that. He was, I wish he took better care of himself. I say, you can solve that problem, but what happened is actually something that's very hard to detect. It was not related to any blockage. It was a totally different thing. And supposedly, and I've watched all the medical reports, I've had the doctors from the White House come in and explain what happened. And this is something that is almost undetectable. And if it happens, there's not much you can do about it. It sounds unfortunate, but there's not much you can do about it. If you look at his father died of the same thing at about the same age. So there was not much. They say it's almost undetectable. You can detect it by if you have a very bad back. That's a sign. It's a bad sign. So if anybody has a bad back, it's a pretty rough thing to think about. But the fact that's one of the primary signs. And he would tell me he had a bad back. But little did anyone realize it was for that. So, and when that bursts, which it did, it burst. There's not much. So I don't see a lot of evil there. I know there's all sorts of conspiracy theories going along, and I don't think the FBI. I think the FBI is wasting their time if they're doing it.
And over at the Capitol, an emotional moment as the sister of Graham took the oath of office, temporarily filling the South Carolina Senate seat her brother held for more than 2 decades. Darlene Graham Nordone was sworn in as South Carolina's newest United States Senator. Here's that moment.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God.
I do.
The oath administered by Senator Chuck Grassley, Nordone becomes the first woman to represent South Carolina in the United States Senate. Now let's talk about artificial intelligence, the future of AI. It's moving fast, hard for a lot of us to even keep up. Adam Hardaj, former CIA operations officer, is here with us this morning. Adam, thanks so much for coming on the show today. AI is changing the world as we know it so fast. You know, the older generation can't understand it. My age group trying to keep up. The kids, I feel like they know more about it than we all do. Tell us what's changing and how it's changing so fast. What are the pros and cons?
Yeah, thanks for having me first off. Secondly, I completely agree. There's really, I don't know how a lot of people feel about AI, whether you support it, whether you want to run away from it, you want to hide it under a rock. It doesn't really matter. The point is it's here now and it's not going away unless, the world goes back to the Stone Age kind of thing. So I was trying to figure out how do I guide my children into the future? And that's where the inspiration for this book, The Alpha Blueprint, came about, because the alphas are the generation that's currently from about, newborns to 15 years old. And so it's really kind of a series of letters from a father to the next generation, trying to provide some timeless guidance, not saying, hey, here's a prompt that you should use, or here's the best tools or tips of the trade, but more like you need to understand the technology. You need to, more importantly, understand you and yourself and your place in this world. And that's really where the book's focus is. But what's fascinating is how we've really kind of reached an inflection point with AI to where, the majority of coding is now done by AI itself, to where some would say we've reached the state of what we call AGI, or artificial general intelligence, or even superhuman intelligence. But I think we still have a few years, but only a few years, before the gate is kind of closed to people in our generation and older being able to keep up and learn the technology. So I would say the biggest thing that families should be doing is sitting and having this discussion with their children about what does their future look like. For example, college debt is the only debt that is not dischargeable in a bankruptcy. So should I advise my kids to go to college and take on $100,000 or $200,000 in debt for a job that may not exist when they get out? Or maybe there's another way. So I think these are the things that we need to be thinking about. The fact of the matter is AI is here, and we have to learn to work with it as a tool while not putting our brain in a jar. And since AI has, in essence, democratized PhD level intelligence, about $20 a month, everybody is now driving the intellectual equivalent of a Ferrari. And so what do you do to maintain your own sort of autonomy, and how do you stand out in that future? And that's really what I'm focused on providing guidance on. Yes, we say, hey, here are some tools. Here's some ways to use this technology. Here's some things to be aware of. And maybe we should even look at changing the way, some of the fundamentals of the way that we're raising our kids in school and the things that we're teaching them. Maybe it's no longer as necessary to learn calculus. Maybe it's better spent familiarizing yourself with ways to integrate modern technology and move through a future which is going to be heavily surveillance based, very intrusive, not much privacy. These are all realities that our next generation, or frankly, you and I are going to have to deal with as well.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty scary when you think of it. Again, AI has some pros and cons. There's a lot of great to AI, and there's a lot of scary to the thought of AI, like you just mentioned with security. When it comes to our kids, you're absolutely right with times changing. And would we send our kids to college to become a graphic designer? Because now AI can make graphics for you. People aren't hiring graphic designers anymore because they can just type in a prompt and ChatGPT makes it for them. I was actually looking at Adam just yesterday. A friend of mine who owns a business has new ads out, and the spokesperson looks very real. So I had to message the office and ask, "Oh, I love the new commercials that are out. Is this a real woman or is this AI?" And they laughed and said it's AI. So that job is being lost because this is a commercial that looks really like a human being, but it's not. So it's changing very fast, and we just have to adapt to the change and how quickly it's moving. What is the biggest AI threat right now to the US that most Americans aren't even paying attention to?
I think that most Americans underestimate the speed at which AI is progressing and the true level of threat that it poses to most professions. So if you're in a data analytical profession, I would be polishing up the resume. If you're, paralegal, or if you're even an X-ray tech, if there's so many jobs, this is all available public source. People who are interested in it could simply Google it, and you can look at those top 50 or 100 jobs that are going to go away. And that is hard truth. So, for example, last year, Walmart came out and they said, hey, we're not going to hire any more humans for the next 3 years while we figure out this AI thing. That's 600,000 jobs that they're not going to create for Walmart. I mean, the scale of this is staggering. So Amazon did the same thing. I mean, you got every big box company or every big tech company is doing the same kind of thing. They're all looking for efficiencies, when efficiencies is a code word for how do we get rid of human capital, which is the most intensive place where we spend capital in business, and that is on people. So human resources departments and things like that. But I would say what adults should be doing is getting comfortable with the basic AI functionality with, ChatGPT and Grok and Claude and things like that, because it is a reality of what they're going to have to work with. And frankly, I've found that it can kind of supercharge the individual if they know how to use the tools properly. So don't put your brain in a jar. Don't just come up with some generic stuff. Otherwise, it's going to be flat. But it can certainly help from an efficiency standpoint and allow you to go 100 times faster in productivity than you could otherwise do just on your own. And so the implication of that is smaller staffs, smaller teams, faster timelines. So everything's speeding up. But that's just a byproduct of it. So we've got to all keep up or we're going to get left behind. And that's the hard and cold, simple truth of it.
Yeah, and when you say it in that manner, keep up or fall behind, there's an AI race between China and America. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Now, also, on the one hand, it sounds very scary, right? China is racing to be the first, and U.S. wants to be the first. And if China gets superintelligence or AGI, then the game is over, and it doesn't matter if you win by 1 minute or 1 second or 1,000 years. You're forever in control of that. And I would caution people. I'd say, okay, well, let's slow down. Let's pump the brakes a little bit, because, for example, the number one, which I know data centers are a really touchy subject, and I'm not sure where I come down on this. I'm not really sure where the truth is, but just being honest here, I'll say the cold, hard reality is that the number one holder of data center technology in the world is the US. We have about, I think, 7,000 plus data centers around the US. The number two global AI data center holding capability is the state of Virginia at 700 data centers. And the number three is China with 350. So to give you an idea, all of China has half of what the state of Virginia has, which is about a tenth of what the entire US has. So I would say that from just a sheer monstrosity and capability standpoint and a churn standpoint, the US is leading the way hands down. But I think this is a game of efficiencies, and I think it's going to be a game of adaptation. And I'm not sure if the U.S., frankly, bureaucratic overlords that are in D.C. and around the states have even a clue as to what it is that they're supposed to be regulating, let alone charting the course for. So where we go from here, I don't know, but it is going to be a wild thing, because you've got corporatocracies now that basically can move with impunity faster than the government can ever respond. And you're looking at, frankly, the reality of the matter is, Elon and Sam Altman racing to be the most powerful man in the world by getting to that AGI, super AGI first. So I guess let's pray that the Lord's plan comes through in the end, and that all bad things are turned for good, and that I do believe good wins in the end. I do believe all things happen for a reason, and that God at the end of the day has got this. So keep our eyes forward. Absolutely. And stay focused on our family, focused on preparing ourselves for the future.
Yeah, and I want to mention too, because we have a lot of older viewers who watch us, Adam, and older could be my age group as well, because it is very convincing. Sometimes you get emails, sometimes you get phone calls. You just never know. Let's talk about AI and deep fakes becoming increasingly convincing.
Yeah. Yeah. Reality is gone when it comes to digital. So you can no longer trust what you see. You can no longer trust the things that you're told. If it is not in my physical personal presence and I can't touch it or talk to it, I only give it maybe 70% credibility. So that, for a while I was sad because one of my guilty pleasures is scrolling Instagram, and now there's just a lot of AI slop that's on there and whatever else. But just kind of allowing that to say, okay, I'm not using this for any sort of real intellectual purposes. I'm okay with it maybe being fake on this, but I'm not going to use it, or I'm not going to rely on it when it comes to forming my own opinions or to being informed about the happenings of society or reality around the world. So the disinformation and psyop world, I've played in that, both the military and the intelligence community. I would say that it is very real. And it is very hard to tell the difference between truth and fiction when it comes to that. So what I always tell people is that if it's not in front of you and you can't physically touch it or talk to it, that person, then take it with a grain of salt, because it may or may not be true.
Absolutely. Good advice from you today. And I'm so glad you joined us. I want encourage everyone to pick up a copy of your book. You mentioned it earlier. Let's put it up on the screen again. There it is right there, The Alpha Blueprint. This is a great read for families, for people, maybe your teenager is off at college. This is really a good book for everyone to get in the know and be prepared for the future of AI. Adam, where can we pick up your book?
Yeah, it's available on Amazon. It's or also through my website, adamhartage.com. I would invite people to pick it up. I think it's the most important conversation that parents can have with their kids. And my old boss, General Mike Flynn, for all of you patriots out there, know exactly who America's general is. He was kind enough to endorse me and actually write the foreword for the book. So I'm very thankful for that. I'm very proud of that. And he was actually, I'm certain that lending his name to it was what put it over the bestseller status. So I invite everybody to check it out. Reach out to me if you'd like further. As well, I'm setting up a series of seminars where we're going to do a couple of 3-day deep dives into all of this, unpacking all of this for families so they can prepare and plan for their future and make sure that their kids are ready to face the world that they're walking into.
Wonderful. Adam, so good to have you on the show today. And we'll be watching AI, and glad you're putting out the word and advice for people to be prepared. Good to see you. Thanks so much for stopping by today.
Thank you, Vanessa. Have a great day. God bless.
You too. Daylight saving time. A bill on Capitol Hill could change the time of when the sun comes up and when the sun goes down. We'll talk more about it next.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
You know, most people think water's just about filtration, but in reality, it's about balance. What gets removed, what gets left behind, and how the water actually behaves once you drink it. Well, many traditional systems focus on one thing, removal. Reverse osmosis, for example, strips water down completely. It may sound ideal, but it removes minerals that our bodies need. The Century Wellness System was designed with a different philosophy. It removes common contaminants like chlorine, fluoride, and PFAS while restoring key minerals like magnesium and improving alkalinity. It also does all this without tanks and without wastewater, and without requiring a complicated installation. It installs in about 15 minutes under your sink, so instead of overcorrecting, it brings your water back into balance. Please visit CenturyH2O.com and use promo code Lindell for 10% off your next purchase. Well, hello everyone. Well, I'm turning 65, and let me tell you, Medicare has me confused. All the junk mail and the robocalls and everything else, it honestly feels like they rigged the system just to confuse us. Well, that's why I partnered and working with Chapter. They're independent and they don't work for big insurance. They work for us. In fact, they're the only advisor that compares every single plan nationwide to find what actually fits your needs. If you're on the right plan, they tell you. If you're not, they're going to help you switch. And it's completely free. Just last year, seniors saved about $1,100 by finding a better plan with Chapter. So call Chapter at 234-LINDELL or go to askchapter.org/Lindell.
Welcome back to My Mornings. The U.S. House has passed the Sunshine Protection Act. The bill would make daylight saving time permanent and end the twice-a-year clock changes for most Americans. It now heads to the Senate, so it's not law just yet. Under the legislation, the country would spring forward and stay there, meaning no more turning clocks back in November. This is a big talker, so we're asking you this morning to join the conversation and let us know how you feel about the Sunshine Protection Act. Let us know in the comments. You can also join the conversation on my social media. And let's go to Tim Burchett with more on what happened in the House yesterday.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. I'm in the House floor. Photo op going on in there. Not sure what's going on. Anyway, daylight savings time makes daylight savings time permanent. Tennessee has a law that would adopt permanent daylight savings time when Congress passed a federal law allowing it. So hopefully the Senate will take it up. I'm not holding my breath. Protecting private, I voted for that, of course. There was a motion to recommit, but no, that's a procedural movement. There's another bill, Protecting Privacy in Purchases Act. It prohibits payment card networks from using specific merchant codes for firearm retailers. And that, of course, is used to discriminate against gun owners and reporting their sales. And it's a violation of privacy, and you have a Second Amendment right to buy a firearm. So I supported that bill. Thank y'all for sending me here. Last votes of the day, I believe.
There you have it. Burchett supporting and behind the Sunshine Protection Act. And another bill that we're watching is the Common Sense Act. It passed the House and it now heads to the Senate. Let's hear more from the House floor.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of H.R. 3074, the Common Sense Act. This is a straightforward bill that accomplishes one common sense goal. It stops the federal government from losing money on a coin that almost no one uses. Here's the problem. Every penny we mint costs the taxpayers nearly 4 cents. Think about that. We are spending 4 cents to make 1 cent. Last year alone, that absurd math cost the American taxpayers more than $85 million. I think we can be a better steward of the taxpayers' money with that. As a businesswoman, I can assure you that no business owner in my district or myself would ever spend 4 times as much to make $1. Yet that's exactly how Washington has managed the penny year after year. And quite frankly, that does not make sense. The Common Sense Act fixes it. It directs the Treasury to stop minting the penny for general circulation. And quite frankly, that's it. It does not take away a single penny that somebody already owns. Every penny in your pocket, every penny in your piggy bank, in that jar on your counter stays as legal tender if it's unused. This is not a radical idea. President Trump called for it, and it's his common sense idea, and it should become law. I introduced this bill with Congressman Robert Garcia, and it cleared the financial services with strong bipartisan support. So Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much in this town, but we do agree on this. We shouldn't be wasting $85 million a year to keep minting pennies. And not only do we agree, but I'd like to submit for the record support from local industry leaders that also support this common sense piece of legislation. It's time to modernize our currency policy and bring some common sense back to Washington. I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to support this legislation and vote yes.
Yeah, and the Common Sense Act, it's aimed at formally ending penny production and creating clearer rules for cash transactions as pennies become less available. That was Michigan Representative Lisa McClain introducing the bill. She did that last year. The House passed the bill by a voice vote and now moves to the Senate, so we'll see what happens with the Common Sense Act. Happy birthday, America! A big cake for America's birthday. Look at that. 250 years and the cake is grand. It is on display at the Library of Congress, a monumental sculpture featuring all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and U.S. territories. It was created by acclaimed cake artist Grace Pack. I wonder if they ship, because I would like a slice of cake. Looks good. Beautiful birthday cake for our country. More news when we come back. Stay with us.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including Lindell TV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to Lindell TV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
When you read one news source, you get one side. When you read two sources, you get an argument. Read 40 sources, and you get the truth. LindellReport.com, the only place you ever need to visit for your news. From Lindell TV, over 40 trusted outlets in one place. No editorial gatekeepers, no hidden bias. Just the day's news. Balanced, unfiltered, ready when you are. Whether you lean left, right, or straight down the middle, this is where you start your day. One click, one feed, one truth. The decision is yours. LindellReport.com. The news you need, the balance you deserve.
Back to our top story, our breaking news this morning. President Trump has just endorsed Mike Lindell for governor of Minnesota. Mike Lindell is with us now live with reaction. Mike, congratulations to you. What a moment.
Thanks, Vanessa. And sorry, everybody got on a little late. My phone's been ringing off the hook, and I had to kind of budge in front of my own network here because it's our local Minnesota media finally has to start listening now. It's so awesome. The best way that they've been avoiding me is just not talking to me. They don't even attack me, but this morning it's ringing off the hook. So that's awesome. So exciting. Vanessa, when I told the president, he's the first one I told I was running for governor, other than my wife, of course. And I didn't ask him for his endorsement then. I wanted it to be, when he did endorse me, I wanted it to be based on merit, on what I was doing with my campaign, and also what I was going to do with to win Minnesota. And so this is a great day for me. And what it did too is the polling, you guys, went from, I was 7 up without his endorsement, and now it's like 42 to 17 or something. It's just a huge gap there now.
And Mike, this tells a lot about your character. We've seen so many people ride President Trump's coattail, and you made sure, and I knew this about you from the get-go, you made sure you wanted to go as far as you could to the finish line on your own based on merit, and then an endorsement if he chose to endorse you toward, closer to the campaign. But you have done so much work for the people of Minnesota. The people know that you truly love the state. You want what's best for the state. You have seen a state in decline under Governor Tim Walz. And you have done a lot of this on your own, fighting for integrity all across the state.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes back, everybody, when I quit all my addictions back in 2009, I spent the next 12, 13 years before all this, the election stuff came up in January of 21. But I spent millions of dollars downtown Minneapolis, St. Paul, Rochester, all over Minnesota, and it was and the whole country for that, where I would speak at churches, and so on. But also I was putting $1 million into homeless people that are homeless, people in addiction, helping your teen challenges, your Salvation Armies of the world, and even My Pillow. We have a 10% tithe at My Pillow to help people. The programs that I put in back then, and using private sector money, I'm gonna put that in Minnesota. We saved over 40%, because one of the biggest problems in Minnesota and this country, but Minnesota is probably the tip of the spear, is our programs, our welfare programs, our NGOs. We have over 400. These entities, and it's not just the fraud. You got to look at each one and say, do you get a good return on your investment? Does it really help people? Does it have an end game? What I'm doing, and another thing people don't realize, is the lieutenant governor that I chose, Philip Parrish. He was a Navy intelligence officer. So the first thing I'm going to do is plug him in like a Minnesota Doge. We need to check out all these programs, get the fraud out, get these secure, and then with the money you save is in the billions. So I'm excited there, and I just got off. I was telling a local station we have here, a lot of the things that I'm going to be doing necessarily the Republicans might not even agree with. And one of them is with, which will be announced as my program for illegals, for the illegal immigrants. And you guys, there's another big problem with that is think of all the employers that are paying cash and they think, oh, I'm doing a real good thing paying cash to the illegal immigrants. But no, they don't care about them. They're lining their pockets by not paying taxes as employers, and businesses that aren't paying taxes and cheating the rest of us and other businesses that can't compete with that. So I've got a great program, and it was just quoted on there that's saying, well, Mike, the Republicans, the president might not even like that. Well, I'm here with common sense solutions to problems, pragmatic solutions, and it's really exciting. I think that this pretty much will show Minnesota great hope that we can win this election. And because in Minnesota, Vanessa, what we're up against here is people feel hopeless because we've been blue since 1972, everybody, at the presidential level. We haven't had a Republican in the governor. We've lost for 24 years. And this is on the heels, everybody, of remember in Minnesota to get the Minnesota GOP endorsement, they want everybody else to drop out, which I said, I'm not going to do that. Kind of like the president, remember in 2016, he said, I'm not going to drop out. I'm I'm in the polls. The people want me in there. And, just a month ago, everybody, the machines went down up in Duluth, Minnesota for 3 hours. So they didn't get the one they wanted, the Lisa Dameth. They got Kendall Qualls. It was meant to be. I was kind of praying he would endorse me before that, but this is perfect timing, and we're already voting in Minnesota in the primary. Everybody, the day of voting is August 11th, which everybody I promote day of voting, but you guys can support us at LINDELLGov.com. At LINDELLGov.com, I think this is going to bring a lot of support in Vanessa. If you refresh that website too, I think if we pull up the website, it should show the president endorsement. Maybe they have it. There it is. There it is, you guys. Right there. That's the breaking news. Everybody, you can go to LINDELLGov.com, read all about it. This is a huge day. And Vanessa, what is tomorrow? I mean, tomorrow, you guys, I was so looking forward to tomorrow for the president, 8:00 p.m. Central Time. He's going to put all this stuff out there that is irrefutable proof that the 2020 election was not only stolen, but we got to get rid of the voting machines. This is what I'm hoping is in there, but it's going to continue to flow out. And everything I've been saying for 5 years, and I'm so excited for that. But this being, you couldn't time it for me because I was getting asked questions yesterday, Mike, are you going to feel vindicated tomorrow night? And I said, I'm not worried so much of feeling vindicated. I just want to win. I want to secure our elections with paper ballots, hand counted, get rid of these voting machines, these companies have them go make blenders. I don't care what they make, but you're not going to make voting machines here in the United States or to put them out here. They don't even make them in the United States, which is illegal, by the way. But so this is exciting. And I think the media now, I don't think they can hide me anymore, Vanessa, that I'm, like I say, they have to, now it's, they have to report it. You can't, they've been reporting like in the last 2 weeks, these two, Kendall and Lisa Lisa won't debate him. And I'm going, my name's left out of the media. It's like you don't exist. And remember, we have a lot of you guys in primaries. You get a lot of corruption in those elections too, whether it's Democrat or Republican. This uniparty is horrible. The establishment, you've got to get, and you see that, look at the president. He's now in these primaries. He's like, I don't know, 200 or 300 to 0 or whatever it is that he's endorsed. I mean, his endorsement means it's huge.
Absolutely. And what a day, Mike, it's storming here where I am today. And I was driving, trying to navigate floodwaters when the notification came across my phone from the president, and I had to put my phone down. I was so excited. I wanted to read it. I couldn't read it because I was trying to get to the studio, but I was so excited for you, for your campaign for the state of Minnesota. What a huge day. And yes, looking forward to tomorrow's speech from the president. This is a great week for you, and this has been a long time coming. It's just almost feels like Christmas Day for us here, and all of the supporters of you, and getting a lot of great reaction. Mike, you know, the media, we know the media, you used to be the media's darling, like you used to say, but they've turned on you. We know that, but the people love you, and it's the people who get out and vote. And we think that, you know, we're going to listen to the polls, and they're all cheering you on there in Minnesota.
Right. And it's such an encouragement. It's going to bring a lot of hope here that we can get these people out to vote. Remember, there's 500,000 people in Minnesota that voted for got out to vote for Donald Trump in 2020, 2024, but didn't even bother and vote in the midterm of 2022. And so we've had teams on the ground in all the Senate district, all 67 in Minnesota. Our ambassador group set up. We call them our leaders. And we've been once a week, we're calls that I'm doing to them. I'm visiting them all. And what they're doing, they're getting the churches involved. We're getting the churches involved, the gun owners. I just met with the Fishermen Association here in Minnesota. And there's just so many right now. All the focus is on we have to win. And I'm going to be putting out, hopefully getting my budget done so people can see these solutions. Because the next hurdle to overcome is, well, what does Mike Lindell know about being a governor, right? Well, I've never been a governor, but I've been a CEO of the most attacked company in history. I built the company from nothing, from going around Minnesota with a pickup truck and inventing a pillow and a trailer and doing shows everywhere in Minnesota, to building it up through addiction, by being freed of that by the grace of God, and then building it to the biggest company that Minnesota's probably ever had direct sales in history, and maybe the country, I don't know. And then to be the most attacked company in history. They're not using that, Vanessa, anymore against me, going, well, Mike, isn't my pillow bankrupt? No, we're still standing, and we were able to guide that through with the grace of God and our own government through Arctic Frost, which is getting a lot more publicity, everybody, with Jack Smith attacking all these people. But he went after one company, My Pillow, and we were debanked, deplatformed, you name it, it happened to My Pillow. But employees, they're still standing, we're still standing strong. And I think, it's you take that prototype, stick it right in over here in Minnesota. And when they said, Mike, what are you going to do on day one? Well, we're going to ban Sharia law for one thing, and we're going to bring back our great Minnesota flag, and then do everything at once, all this stuff, because we're working on them now. So you don't leave anything behind. Every one of these NGOs, every one of these welfare programs, they're all going to be looked at with a microscope. All the commissioners, unless they've done a great job, are all going to be let go, bringing in all new commissioners. And I want to thank you guys. Vanessa, you've been huge for a great job at Lindell TV, and I want to tell everyone out there, our voice now is bigger than ever, and I want all of you to get a part of Lindell TV. We're publicly traded at MLMC. We're a publicly traded company. We have the best reporters ever. We are in D.C. We're at the White House, the Pentagon, and the Capitol Daily. We start out the day with your show. We've got great, and I just want to encourage everybody, spread the word, because this time around, they can't keep our messages down, like the president putting that out tomorrow night. If he didn't, Vanessa, if it was 5 years ago, I don't think any network would hold. They went, don't listen to him, And tomorrow the word will be out, and it's going to be great. So, but I'm very, very encouraged.
Well, I'm excited for you, Mike. What a wonderful day. You've earned it. You've done a great job. And I know your entire team is proud. Today's going to be a good day around the campaign headquarters and all across the state of Minnesota. But we encourage everyone to get out and vote. Again, go to your website. The announcement is right there right now. The president's announcement endorsing Mike Lindell for governor of Minnesota.
LindellGov.com, everybody. LindellGov.com.
Absolutely. All right, Mike, we are out of time. So good to see you. Congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
And we look forward to the speech to the president tomorrow. Have a good day, Mike. And we hope you all have a good day as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Have a great day.
Mike Lindell here. The radical left and the deep state aren't just coming for our freedoms, they're coming after our money too. For years, they've been destroying our economy from the inside out with reckless spending, open borders, woke policies that crush our businesses. And now they've left us with an inflation disaster that's wiping out the savings of our hardworking families. They don't want us to be independent. They want us to be dependent on the government. Well, that's not going to happen on my watch. That's why I partner with American Independence Gold. It's a veteran-owned company that's helping patriotic Americans fight back by protecting our savings with real physical gold and silver. And right now, they're giving away up to $15,000 in free silver and a free gold IRA kit. A portion of all the profits go to 9/11 first responders and veterans at the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. The deep state can't touch your gold, so visit MikeLindellGold.com or call 844-714-4653 right now. That's MikeLindellGold.com. Take back control.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
You know, most people think water's just about filtration, but in reality, it's about balance. What gets removed, what gets left behind, and how the water actually behaves once you drink it. Well, many traditional systems focus on one thing, removal. Reverse osmosis, for example, strips water down completely. It may sound ideal, but it removes minerals that our bodies need. The Century Wellness System was designed with a different philosophy. It removes common contaminants like chlorine, fluoride, and PFAS while restoring key minerals like magnesium and improving alkalinity. It also does all this without tanks and without wastewater and without requiring a complicated installation. It installs in about 15 minutes under your sink, so instead of overcorrecting, it brings your water back into balance. Please visit CenturyH2O.com and use promo code Lindell for 10% off your next purchase. Well, hello, everyone. Well, I'm turning 65, and let me tell you, Medicare has me confused. All the junk mail and the robocalls and everything else, it honestly feels like they rigged the system just to confuse us. Well, that's why I partnered and working with Chapter. They're independent, and they don't work for big insurance. They work for us. In fact, they're the only advisor that compares every single plan nationwide to find what actually fits your needs. If you're on the right plan, they tell you. If you're not, they're going to help you switch. And it's completely free. Just last year, seniors saved about $1,100 by finding a better plan with Chapter. So call Chapter at 234-LINDELL or go to askchapter.org/Lindell.